Hi. This presentation is about understanding your building's energy use through benchmarking. We are Associated Renewable, an end-to-end full-service energy consulting and carbon management company. We offer custom energy efficiency solutions, supply and implement renewable energy technologies, and provide energy training and offer complete project financing options. So what is benchmarking? Benchmarking analyzes your past building's energy usage patterns. It's a lot like a mile per gallon rating for a car. It's a way of viewing your current energy usage and comparing it to other similar buildings. Benchmarking is useful as an independent tool, but it's also an important first step in larger energy efficiency measures. It allows you to see if your building is underperforming and if there is wide opportunity for energy efficiency improvements. In New York City, energy benchmarking is mandated by Local Law 84, which is part of the Greener, Greater Buildings Plan, which was implemented in 2009. The goal of the plan is to reduce the city's carbon footprint, and Local Law 84 requires large buildings to conduct an annual analysis of energy and water consumption, and that's benchmarking. 75% of New York City's carbon emissions are from its buildings, so this buildings plan is an important way to reduce the carbon footprint of the city. There are various exemptions and requirements for benchmarking. Any city buildings, 10,000 gross square feet or more, that are owned by the city or for which the city regularly pays all or part of the annual energy bills are required to benchmark. And for commercial and mixed-use buildings and residential buildings, the general rule is buildings over 50,000 gross square feet are required to benchmark. Also, 2 or more buildings on the same tax lot that together exceed 100,000 gross square feet. Benchmarking begins with data collection. You must collect the data for the entire calendar year. Then this includes electricity, gas, fuel oil, steam, if it exists, and water, if it is independently metered. Commercial and mixed-use buildings with commercial tenant spaces must request data on the tenant's metered energy use if those tenants are sub-metered. For residential buildings, this is not the case, but commercial tenants must report their energy use if sub-metered. Building square footage is also an important piece of data for benchmarking, and this can be assessed either on-site or via building plans. The standard process for benchmarking is to start off by providing your benchmarking administrator with the building gross square area and a breakdown of the square footage by space use type. So for instance, the number of square feet that are dedicated as office space, the number of square feet dedicated as retail space, residential space, etc. Then collect and compile the property's whole building energy usage for the entire calendar year. So the aggregated data of the entire building, all the meters throughout the entire year. And then gather information on the space use attributes to see how energy is being used in those properties. And then send the benchmarking non-residential tenant information collection form to tenants with their own utility meters. Again, residential tenants are not required to report any sub-metered usage, only commercial tenants. And then all this information must be entered into a tool that the EPA has developed called Portfolio Manager, which allows for that comparison that we've discussed earlier. And the Portfolio Manager will then spit out this statement of energy performance, as you see here. This is a sample of that report. Some of the key numbers that will be given by the Statement of Energy Performance are the Energy Performance Rating. Now this number rates you is a percentile rank based on buildings of similar use type and in similar climates. 100 is obviously the best, 1 is the worst. And buildings that score above a 75 will receive an Energy Star rating, which will allow them to be exempted from Local Law 87, energy auditing, if they receive it 2 out of 3 years prior to energy auditing. Energy intensity is also reported, as well as the emissions. And so the energy intensity is how much energy the property uses per square foot. which is a useful comparison for buildings of varying sizes. You can see how efficiently energy is being used regardless of size. And emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, is the amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted into the atmosphere as a result of that property's energy usage. So this will include emissions from a power plant or emissions from other energy usage. The state of New York, or the city of New York, excuse me, recently released a benchmarking report that looked at all the data submitted for 2011 and tried to glean some facts from that. One of the most interesting finds of this report was that there's wide gaps in the lowest and the highest performing buildings. As you can see on this chart here, the smaller bars are the energy usage for buildings that are in the 95th percentile, and the larger bars are buildings that are in the 5th percentile. So you can see in some cases the lowest performing buildings use 3 to almost 8 times as much energy as some of the highest performing buildings. So if we can narrow that gap a little bit, a lot of energy can be saved. In this benchmarking report, it was estimated that if poor performing buildings improve their efficiency and reach just the median level of energy use in their categories, that is, if all buildings can just reach the 50th percentile, the city's energy consumption would decline by at least 18% and greenhouse gas emissions would be cut by 24%. And again, this is just if the lowest performing buildings reach the average, the current average. So in summary, benchmarking is a method of assessing a building's performance as compared to similar buildings. It's a simple way of determining if an energy audit and retro-commissioning would be worthwhile. If your building gets a very low score on that statement of energy performance, it's probably a good sign that an energy audit and retro-commissioning would be a very good financial choice for your building. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@associatedrenewable.com. And thank you.